me get this clear. Cause I had no idea. I feel like I did too much. I feel like I did too much. Cause it's getting older. Yeah, I need all.
Yo, what's up YouTube? And it's Eternal Sage back with another what if. As you can see, the what if I'm posting today is what if Deku had an infinity quirk. Now let me give y'all a little rundown of the quirk before y'all think Gojo or something. The quirk is basically Deku. It's basically over. Deku can have any quirk he wants. Like he has infinite quirks, basically. So yeah, that the quirk has no drawbacks and all that type of stuff. And with that, I'm gonna send y'all to the video real quick.
Izuku woke up. Mom, guess what? He yelled as he kicked his mom's door open. What, Izu? She asked, knowing exactly why he was asking the question. It's my birthday, he screamed. Mom, can come over?
You mean Kanchan?
I want to show him my quirk once I get it. This caused Inko to chuckle. Sure, Izu. But get ready first. Time skip brought to you by the lazy-ass author lady. When Kakin was over. What do you think my quirk will be, Kakin? Izuku asked his best friend. I don't know, but whatever it is, it won't be as cool as my quirk. Kakin replied. Oh, well okay. 1 month after Izuku's birthday. Mom, my quirk must be strong, said Izuku as he walked into school. It must be, she reassured. As Inko pulled out of the drop-off zone, Izuku walked into school. He navigated the halls, passing the cafeteria, front office, and nurse's office, until he got to a plain, undecorated door that led to his classroom. As he entered, he was greeted by his best friend, Kakin. Hey Izuku. Did you get your quirk yet? Kakin asked. He had been doing this ever since the birthday party. It was starting to annoy Izuku. Same answer as always, Kakin. No, I did not get my quirk yet, answered Izuku as he rolled his eyes. He walked past him as the teacher called them to their seats. I can't wait to get my quirk, Izuku thought. 2 months after Izuku's birthday. I must have such a powerful quirk. I'll be a hero just like All Might. I'll be able to fight by his side. That'll be so cool. Izuku. Huh? Oh, hi Kakin. Izuku said, a little flustered. I've been trying to get your attention for 5 minutes. You really need to stop muttering, said Kakin. Oh, sorry, I didn't realize, Izuku said while scratching his neck. 3 months after Izuku's birthday. What a loser, Bakugo said as he laughed at Izuku. Deku, a worthless, quirkless loser. Even worthless and quirkless rhyme. You really are a Deku. Why you don't know that? I could have the most powerful quirk ever. Stop being so mean, Kakin. Izuku yelled, frightened. Yeah right. And don't call me Kakin. I'm not your friend, who would wanna be friends with a quirkless loser. 4 years and 4 months old. I'm sorry, but your son is quirkless. What? This must be a mistake. He wants to be a hero, Inko said as she looking at her seemingly broken son. Sorry, but unless he gets his quirk in the next 2 days, we're going to have to put it in his records. No. Mommy. Will I ever be a hero? Izuku questioned his mother. I don't know, Izu. 4 years and 5 months old. Mommy. Look. All Might is so cool. Do you think I could be a hero? Even without a quirk? Asked Izuku, as he pointed to the computer screen. Mommy. Inko ran to her son and dropped to her knees, hugging him. I'm so sorry, Izu. 4 years and 6 months old. I'm not a loser. I'll be great, just like All Might. Even without a quirk. If I ever do get a quirk, I'll be so strong. 4 years and 7 months old. Quirkless. Worthless. Loser. I'll show him who the loser is. Just you wait, Kakin. I'll make sure you know I'm great. Next, an 8 months old. Your quirk is so useless. Kukin said as he laughed and bullied a crying kid. Stop, Kukin. That's not nice. Yelled Izuku as he stepped in front of the kid protecting them. Trying to play hero? I think a quirkless kid is way worse than a kid with a stupid quirk. Stated Kukin. He and his goons slowly stepped forward, attacking Izuku. Izuku went home with many burns and bruises that day. 4 years and 9 months old. Izuku sat in his room crying on his bed. He wished he had a quirk. Then maybe him and Kukin would still be friends. Maybe Ho's dad wouldn't have left. Maybe he could be a hero. No, even if I don't have a quirk, I'll still be a hero. 4 years and 10 months old. Mom. Mom, are you okay? Izuku asked again. I'm fine, Izu. Go back to bed, okay? She said. Oh, okay, Mom. He answered. 4 years and 11 months old. Why? Why did I have to be the unlucky one? The quirkless one. Izuku's 5th birthday. Izuku sat on the couch, watching TV while his mom made his favorite meal, katsudon, for his birthday. How Izuku wished he could be Lucky on his birthday, and get a quirk. A cool one like telekinesis, so he could use the TV remote without getting up. Or he could help his mom cook. Or he could be a hero, and save people with a smile. Or if he had a time quirk, he could stop time and make it to school on time after his beatings by Kukin. And he could be a hero, stopping villains with time. Or, maybe if he could teleport, that would help with getting to school on time. And he could also be a hero with that quirk. Then the impossible happened. Just as Izuku looked at the TV remote, it started floating. Did I mumble again? Is mom trying to make me feel better? Izuku thought. He then looked behind him, to see no one was there. It hit him like a train. Oh my god. I'm doing this. It's me. He looked back at the remote, and waved his hand, making the remote move side to side. It looked like it was dancing through the air. I wonder. This quirk came when I wished I had it. What if? I really wanna have a time quirk. One that lets me stop time. As soon as Izuku was done, he tested it out. To his surprise, he already knew what to do and how to work it. All he had to do was say time freeze. And the time would stop. Time freeze, said Izuku. Everything around him turned black and white. He slowly got off the couch, and went to the kitchen. His mom stood there, frozen in time. So, he turned around and walked outside. It was the same. He saw the world black and white, everyone still frozen. This must stop the whole world. I mean, if one part of the world stops, then the rest would have to, too. Izuku walked back inside and sat back down on the couch. Time continued. He said. Everything went back to their normal color, and things started moving again. If my quirk is what I think it is, then I can be a hero. But I want to try one more thing. Izuku said to himself. Quirk teleportation. With this quirk I want to be able to teleport anywhere I want. No matter if I've been there or not. He then thought of where he wanted to teleport. And chose he would go to one of Hawaii's beaches, because he heard they were pretty. I want to go to a beach in Hawaii. Izuku said as he closed his eyes. When he opened them, he was standing by the seashore, watching as the waves crashed into the sand. He looked up and saw a beautiful cloudless sky, and a rainbow going over the bright sun. No way. He muttered to himself. He then realized that if he stayed any longer, his mom would realize he was gone, and would worry. With that, he said the words, I want to go back home, and left. Back at home on his couch, Izuku released a sigh. He could do it. He could be a hero. He had a quirk. One even stronger than All Might's, at that. Izuku. Enko called, dinner. Izuku ran into the small dining room, and sat at the table. His mom walked in hands full of food. Mom, allow me. Izuku said. He then used telekinesis to take the food out of his mom's hands, and set it down on the table. Izuku. Why you? She got your chew quirk. Enko stad, breathtaking. I know mom. I was thinking about how cool it would be to have telekinesis quirk. Then I saw the remote floating. At first, I thought I had muttered and you had heard me. But, It turns out it was me. The green-haired boy said, and that's not all. I think my quirk is stronger than All Might's. That's why my quirk took so long to develop. But, Izuku honey, a telekinesis quirk, it doesn't come close to the strength All Might has. I know. But the telekinesis is only part of my quirk, he said. Enko stared shocked, but nodded her head for him to continue. My quirk is that I can create quirks, he told her. Sadly, it was a little too much to drop on her shoulders, and she fainted. Front of Izuku and Enko stood in front of the door they knew too well. The door that had first told them Izuku had no quirk. But now, they stood in front of it. The most powerful kid on. Enko had woken up around 20 minutes ago, and after letting things sink in, she took her son to the quirk doctor. As she knocked on the door, she felt shivers down her spine. This was the door to the room they had been when dreams came crashing down, only to be built back up by the next family that entered. Now there they were, ready to be the ones to build it up, instead of break it down. The door opened, revealing a man just above the age of 40. Hello, hello. Nice to see you, Midoriya family. The doctor said as he stepped back, telling the family enter. Enko and Izuku both sat on the chairs, facing where the doctor would be. He soon sat down, getting straight to the point. Now, I was wondering why you were here. Not to sound rude, or anything, he said. Enko then spoke up. Well, about 9 months ago, we came here asking about Izuku's quirk, but you said he didn't have one. The doctor took notes, and nodded for her to continue. Well, it's his 5th birthday today, and well, he developed his Q quirk today. The doctor finished writing notes and looked at the green-haired boy. If you did develop a quirk today, way past the known deadline, then you must have a quirk stronger than All Might. What is your quirk? He asked calmly. But deep down, he couldn't believe it. Not until the boy showed him the quirk. Well, my quirk allows me to create other quirks, the green-haired boy said. As the reaction, the doctor dropped his clipboard, and stared. What did you name it, and can you show me? He asked as he regained composure, grabbed his clipboard from the floor, and looked back at Izuku. Oh, I named it Infinity, and sure, I can show you. Izuku thought for a bit, before he thought of a quirk he liked and might need. I wish to have a quirk called Space. With this quirk, I will be able to use the fabrics of space. I will be able to create portals to any dimension, and send anything I want to a trash dimension. This will come off as me simply making something disappear. I will be able to switch places with anything I want, and can switch the place of any 2 things I want. Finally, I will be able to open wormholes to anywhere in the universe. That is a very complicated quirk. Why, young man? The doctor said in shock. I know. Do you want to see the quirk now? Izuku questioned the man. Sure. Izuku let out a breath, and began opening portals everywhere. Enko stared at her son in what was shock, fear, amazement, and most importantly, happiness. The doctor wrote down notes. So far, he had this. Izuku Midoriya. Sex, male. Age, 5. Height, 4 feet 1 inch. Quirk, Infinity. The Infinity quirk allows possessor the ability to create quirks at will. Drawbacks of quirk, none. Notes, first sighting of Infinity quirk. Set the quirk deadline to 5 years old. Most powerful quirk in the world. After Izuku finished showing them the quirk, they went over the basics. Well, since your son has the most powerful quirk in the world, we'll keep his name a secret when the public finds out there's a new quirk deadline. But, if you don't mind, we would like to tell All Might who he is. I think he would make a good trainer for young Izuku when Izuku's old enough. The doctor explained. Of course that's fine. Izuku has wanted to be a hero for as long as I can remember. All Might is his idol, and you're telling me at some point they would train together. Of course. Enko said happily. She could barely believe it. She was proud. As Izuku grew up he practiced and trained his quirk. When he was around 5.5 years old, Kukin apologized for being so mean to Izuku. They became friends again, and only after he trusted Kukin, he told him about his quirk. Now 8.5 years later, they were sitting in his middle school classroom, on the last day of the year until the UA entrance exams. So, As third-year students, you need to start thinking seriously on what you want to do in the future. I could hand out some applications. But who am I kidding? You all want to be heroes. The teacher said. Everyone in class started showing off their quirk, except for 2 certain students. Now, I know you're all excited, but using your quirk is against the rule. The teacher said as he tried to make everyone stop. Oh no. I just know Kakin is going to say something. Hey teach. Don't put me and Deku in with these bunch of losers. We're the real deal, but they'll be lucky enough to end up as sidekicks to some unknown business. Kakin stated. To him, this was a fact. Hey. You can't just say that. Yeah. You might be strong, but Deku doesn't have a quirk. Since when do you have the right to say that? All the kids were complaining, so Izuku took it into his own hands to shut them up. Look. For one, Kakin's right. And 2, I never said I didn't have a quirk. I just never showed it off. He said. Yes class. Katsuki and Izuku are trying out for UA. No way. That school is impossible to get into. It has a 0.2 acceptance rate. That's exactly why Izuku and I are the only ones that have the skills to get in. It suits us perfectly. Katsuki said. This statement caused Izuku to chuckle a bit. As school came to an end, Izuku and Katsuki walked home together. So, are you really going to America to train, Kakin? Izuku asked. Yeah. I can't wait. Who are you training with, Deku? Kakin asked. Oh, I can't tell you. I'm sorry Kakin. Nah, whatever. But when I come back from America, you better be ready to train. Katsuki said. Sure. Oh, it's your stop Kakin. I'll see you in 9 months. And I'll be ready. Izuku said as he waved goodbye. As Katsuki and Izuku went their separate ways, Izuku walked under a tunnel. It was a good thing he had a 6th sense quirk. Look what we have here. A nice looking dash. Izuku cut the slime off by using his telekinesis to hold the slime against the wall. He then picked up a plastic bottle, and put the slime in it. Don't fuck with me. Izuku said. I am here. All Might said as he ran up to the tunnel. Oh, I see the slime villain is already taken care of. And you are Izuku Midoriya. Hello young Midoriya. I can't wait to start training. Oh. Hello All Might. When will training start? Izuku asked. Meet me at Dogaba Municipal Beach tomorrow at 6 in the morning, alright. All Might said. Sure. Izuku replied. He then left and walked home. Before Izuku knew it, tomorrow had come. He quickly got out of bed, then started his normal morning routine. Take a shower, get dressed, eat breakfast, brush his teeth, then head out. When he left, it was around 5:55. He walked into a nearby alleyway and teleported to the beach. Hi All Might. He said happily. This sudden action caused All Might to flinch. All Might turned around. Hello there, young Midoriya. You almost gave me a heart attack. Anyway, tell me about your quirk. Well, Izuku started my quirk allows me to create quirks. When I create a quirk, the way I need to use it pops into me head. I can also look up information if I want to go to the next level with it. When I'm done with a quirk, I can choose to get rid of it, or I can keep it. I usually tend to keep the quirk though. Wow. Well, can you tell me your favorite quirks, and show them to me? All Might asked. Yeah. My favorite quirks are telekinesis, clockwork, space, elements, teleportation, draw create, and transformation. Izuku proceeded to lift All Might with his mind. He made him move around, then he put All Might down. Good job, kid. Time freeze. Izuku said. Everyone around froze, everything lost color and turned black and white. Izuku then used his transformation quirk and turned into a hybrid wolf. He had green faded to black wolf ears and a tail. Then he walked over to All Might, and stood in front of him. Time continue. Izuku said. Things gained back color, and started moving again. Ah. Young Mid, are you a wolf? All Might asked confused. Oh, yeah. It's my transformation quirk. I also used my clockwork quirk. Izuku explained. Wow kid. Izuka then opened up portals across the world, and to different dimensions. He switched places with All Might. These are portals that lead to places across the world, and some to different dimensions. Izuka said. Again. All I can say is wow, kid. Izuka then teleported behind All Might and asked if he had a pen and paper. All Might gave Izuka the pen and paper. Izuka then drew a phone, and wrote create at the top of the paper. It's a good thing I took art lessons, he said as the phone appeared in his hand. If I write details next to the item before I create it, it will work better. Okay, good to know, young Midoriya. Last I should show you his elements. Izuka then grabbed water from the sea, air, used the humidity to create fire, and grabbing earth from the earth. He spun all 4 elements around his head, then snapped his fingers, and erased them with his space quirk. That was when the real training began. He had been pushed to the limit every day of training. As the months passed, he had been trained on how fast he could make quirks, then pick what he wanted to get rid of. He had found a way to stop time without saying anything. All he had to do was think hard enough. Soon, creating quirks had become a breeze. He had studied the human body as well, in case he needed to heal someone. He had also cleaned the beach, but he usually didn't use his quirk while doing it, as to grow actual muscles. Sadly, though he had muscles, it barely showed. He was still short as well. Katsuki had come back exactly 9 months after he left, just like he promised. The big difference was, you could actually see his muscles. And, just like they promised each other, they battled. Izuka won in practically seconds, but that was to be expected. Now, the 2 boys stood in front of UA. They were ready to give OT their all. Though, they knew they would pass anyway. It was time. UA, here they come. Come examinees. Examinees, to the one and only UA entrance exams. Can I hear you say he? President Mike said to all of the participants. Sadly, no one felt like saying he, so everything was silent. I know. I have shivers down my spine too. Anyway, I have to give you the lowdown on how this entrance exam is going to go. President Mike said happily. There are going to be 3 different types of robots you are going to fight. You earn points for them based on their level of difficulty. So 1, 2, or 3 points per villain. Your goal, dear listeners, is to use your quirks, to immobilize and get points from the foe villains. President Mike was interrupted by Examinee 7111. Excuse me, sir. On the printout you've listed 4 villains, not 3. With all respect, if this is an error on official UA materials, it is shameful. A tall boy with glasses said. He then pointed at Izuku and Katsuki. And you 2 boys, you have been talking. Don't you know it is disrespectful to UA, and distracting to the people who are trying to pass? If you are not going to take this exam seriously, then I suggest you leave. Izuka then stood up. As someone who is distracting all examines, you must be pretty stuck up. Not only have you been more distracting than me and my friend, you have also disrespected the school and President Mike. UA is the top school, and you have accused the school and people who work here by interrupting the presentation, and accusing. So, I suggest you think before you speak. The tall boy with glasses blushed, then sat back down. Izuku sat down as well. Nice one, nerd. Kaken whispered. Thanks, asshole. Izuku whimpered back. Alright. Examinee number 7111. Thanks for calling in with your request. The 4th villain type is worth 0 points. That guy's just an obstacle we'll throw in your way, so I recommend ignoring it. President Mike said. Battle Center B. Okay. I wanna show off, but not too much, and ending the battle within a couple minutes with definitely get me in. All I have to do is focus. I'll use my cat form too, since I'm more agile that way. Izuka thought. He then grew his cat ears and tail. And the gates opened. Come on now guys. Izuka said as he ran in. Real fights don't have countdowns. At that, everyone ran in. Then Izuka stopped the time, everything losing color. He teleported to the top of a building in the middle of the battle arena, and used his new super awareness quirk to spot all robots, then his telekinesis quirk to pick them up. As all the bots rose up, he used his wind element to spin them in a circle. Digging boulders up from the ground he lit them on fire, and put them in his super tornado. I can slowly destroy the bots like this, or I can bring time back and snap some bots out of existence. Yeah, I like the second option better. Things started getting their color back, and people started moving. What? How is he doing this? Examinee 7111 shouted. Everyone looked in shock at the short and small cat boy. Who has this kind of power? Examines thought. Izuku proceeded to snap the fingers on his right hand, and bots disappeared, as if they were being snapped out of existence. Spectating room. Hey, what's happening in Battle Center B? Said a woman known as Midnight, the 18-plus hero. The other spectators followed her gaze, and saw a single small boy with cat ears. All around him, levitating in the air, were the robots. They were moving around in a circle, some being hit by flaming boulders, and some randomly disappearing. Who is he, and what is his quirk? Aizawa, also known as Eraserhead, asked. Though, it sounded more of a statement. You have to know him to understand him. And almost no one understood him. Ah, that is young Midoriya. The one I trained. A skinny All Might said. His quirk. It developed it when he was 5 years old. His quirk is the new deadline. So, then, what's his quirk? Recovery Girl questioned the man that was basically skin and bones. He calls it Infinity Quirk. It allows him to create any quirk he wants. No drawbacks at all. All Might answered. Ah, so he is the one I was told about. Principal Nizu said. They then looked back to the monitor, seeing broken pieces of robots on the ground, and a happy-looking Izuku. Now the real battle starts. Let's see what he can do. Release the 0-pointer. Battle Center B. Well, that was easy. Izuku thought. He then heard loud footsteps, and looked up. The 0-pointer. It was crushing buildings, and that wouldn't be good for a real city, so Izuku needed to stop it. New goal, stop giant robot without his time quirk, and element quirk. He figured it was fair, since he used those two quirks too much. He then teleported in front of the 0-pointer, and snapped his fingers, with his space quirk to get rid of its legs. As the 0-pointer fell, he put a plan of action into, well, action. His super awareness allowed him to through anything, as well as heightening his senses. He then dove into the material level of Adams, and with his telekinesis, began pulling out lines and strips of molecules, as if they were thread on a needle. Doing this, the bot gained thin slice-like cuts, symmetrical in any way they could be. Once he was done, the robot fell into thin sheets of metal. Students looked at him like he was crazy, or like he was famous. And, honestly, he loved it. There you have it, folks. President Mike shouted from the spectating room's announcement speaker. The battle in Battle Center B wasn't even a battle. It was a massacre. Spectating room. I want him in my class. Aizawa stated. Everyone but a skinny All Might and bear/mouse/dog-like creature stared at him like he was crazy. Of course, Aizawa. Said the creature that happened to be the principal. Battle Center B. Izuku stood there on the ground, looking at the camera. I am so sorry for destroying all the robots and not letting anyone else get points. If it's okay with you, I would like to rebuild the robots, so people here still have a chance. Oh, no need to be sorry, young listener. If you really would like to rebuild the robots, then go ahead. Okay. Thank you. Izuku then dashed off to the rest of the Battle Center B examines. Do any of you have the printout? Oh, I do. A short girl with brown hair went up to the front, and gave Izuku the printout. I'm Okako Uraraka. Pleasure to meet you. Ah, thank you for the printout. I'm Izuku Midoriya, and the pleasure is mine. Izuku said to the girl. Izuku then backed away from everyone. Okay, I want a quirk that allows me to build anything I want. He then got to work on creating about 100 robots. Once he was finished, he ran back to the camera he was looking at, and told President Mike he could start THR exam for those as Battle Center B. As soon as it started, Izuku teleported home, and greeted his mom. Oh. Hello Izuku, how did it go? Enko asked her son, a little jumpy since her popped up out of nowhere. Hey, Mom. Sorry to just pop up and scare you, and sorry I'm so late. I destroyed all the robots in Battle Center B, So I stayed and rebuilt the robots. I figured people there should still have a chance. I hope you don't mind. Izuku said as he hugged his mom. Oh, Izuku. You're going to make a great hero. You just are the best. You help people, even if they don't need it. You're going to be the greatest hero ever, Izuku. Replied Inko. Thanks, Mom. I love you so much. Of course, Izuku. Now, to celebrate the fact that you're definitely getting I to UA, I'll go make Katsudon your favorite. Then, if you want, we can watch All Might movies. Inko exclaimed. Izuku chuckled at his mom. Sure, Mom. Do you want any help in the kitchen? After that night, Inko and Izuku practically jumped every time the doorbell rung, though it was mostly Katsuki, and sometimes regular mail they opened the door to. Izuku was laying on his bed, enjoying the silence around him. It had been 2 weeks since the UA entrance exam, and he had been getting relaxed. That was, until his mom busted through his door. Izuku. It's here. She yelled, snapping Izuku out of his thoughts. She then neatly set it on the ground. I'll give you some privacy. Inko then left the room. Izuku got off of his bed, and walked up to the letter, slowly bending down, acting like if he got too close, it would run away scared. He picked it up, closing the door. As he walked to the desk, he opened it. A little disc fell onto his desk, glowing in the process. I am here. As a projection. All Might said as he appeared, as a projection. All Might. Izuku Midoriya. You are very incredible indeed. Not only did you manage to get 100 billion points, but you were also caught muttering some egging about keeping property damage to a minimum. You also stayed and rebuilt our 4 billion robots, when you could have just went home. You not only show the strength of a hero, you show the mindset, and kindness. All Might said. By this point, Izuku was crying. He couldn't believe it. Well, he could, he was the one doing it, but that didn't change the fact that he was surprised. All Might went on. In the end, you gained 1000 points. Though the judges did want to offer more, it wouldn't be very fair since they've never done that before. The score rank list showed up, him in first, with 1000 points, and Kaken in second, with 77 points. The list then disappeared and All Might was there. With that being said, welcome to your Hero Academia. Beep. 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 Annoying ass fucking alarm clock. Izuku slowly opened his eyes, only to be met with the world's over-exaggerating, happy sunlight, flowing through his window. He groggily stood, allowing his lifted halfway up shirt to fall. He went to his dresser, and grabbed his new uniform, and walked downstairs to the bathroom. As he went down the stairs, he heard his mother humming, and he smiled to himself. She really was the best mom anyone could have. It was his dream to be a hero, and though she may have said some things in the past, they were easily forgiven. And if he was being honest with himself, he understood why she said what she said. That's why, no matter how much it takes, he'll become a hero. Not just because he can't sit still when someone's in danger, not just because he wants to save people, even with a smile. He'll do it for them, for everyone, but also, he'll do it for her. He walked out of the bathroom, fully ready for the day, and the sweet aroma of his mother's cooking filled the air. Walking to the table, he sat. Good morning, Izuku. How are you feeling? Are you ready for UA? Izuku chuckled at his mom's questions. Morning, Mom. I'm feeling just fine, ready to show I belong in UA. How are you, Mom? Oh, Izuku. I'm doing great. Inko said as she placed a bowl of miso soup in front of him. Thanks, Mom. After they had finished up, and he said his goodbyes, he grabbed his stuff and walked out the door. The walk to the train station, along with the equal train ride, wasn't eventful. Except some thoughts people had. Izuku had recently given himself a few more quirks. Ones he thought would be good for the first day of school. These included mind reading. He basically could read people's thoughts, pasts, and other things the brain stores. Shapeshift allows him to change his appearance, usually into someone, but he can make up a person. Future eyes, which allow him to see the future. Spy, no sound is made, like a spy on a very important mission. Insane IQ, boots intelligence level. And X-ray vision, he can see through anything, no matter what it is. The ride was soon over, and began to walk the rest of the way. As he walked, he decided he would take it into his hands to check the security. If I'm able to sneak into the building, then any villain with a brain should be able to do it too. If they use their brain right. He was then face to face with the gates of UA. Students walking in. Hell, he even saw Kukin flip someone off. Laughing to himself, he used his X-ray vision to plan out his perfect route in. By bypassing the cameras, he would be able to get to the roof, and use the vents to crawl and make it to his class. Okay, I can do this. Yeah, I can. They won't be able to up the security if I didn't do this. Or, am I doing this for a cool entrance? Probably. Yep. Finishing his train of thought, he snuck around to one of the corners of the school wall. Operation sneak past the cameras for security testing and a cool entrance is a go. Izuka whispered to himself. He then jumped into a tree, and over the school border, no alarms activated. He proceeded to jump out of the tree, and go through the bushes, sneaking past all cameras. He got to the side of the school, and unlatched a vent covert. It honestly scared him by the fact he hadn't been seen. He grew his cat features, and crawled into the vent. He closed the vent, making sure to use his spike work so no sound was heard. Extending his cat claws, he crawled up the vents, using his cat form's night vision to see, and his X-ray vision to navigate. He came across classroom 1A, and was able to pick out his best friend's thoughts. Where is that damn loser? I sure as hell know he passed. Izuka chuckled at this. His friend never changed. And he was surprisingly proud to be Kukin's friend. He took this thought as the right moment, and carefully opened the vent. Just then, a yellow caterpillar appeared, and the pro hero Eraserhead came out, explaining how it took 8 seconds for everyone to quiet down. Students went to their seats, but that was when a tall blue-headed teen pointed out his absence. Excuse me, Aizawa-sensei. But, there seems to be a seat empty. Is a student missing? The teen asked. Before Aizawa could answer, or the teen could go on about how it was disrespectful to miss school, especially at UA, Izuka jumped out of the ceiling, scaring everyone in the room. You know, it was really easy to sneak in school without being seen or caught. There are a lot of blind spots with your security. Presuming you'll get it fixed, I wanted to say thanks. It provided a great entrance. Izuka chuckled at the faces everyone was making. And if his X-ray vision was right, he saw Aizawa-sensei smile behind his capture weapon. Well, take your seat, Midoriya. And thanks, for the security testing. Aizawa said in a monotone voice. Yes, Aizawa-sensei. He said. His teacher's next thoughts surprising him. I think I like this kid. He'll be a problem child, but a smart one. That made Izuka smile. The PE uniform, however, didn't. It was fine. Just fine. Whatever. He'd have to deal with it. As he walked onto the field, he saw Katsuki, and immediately went over. Hi Kukin. Izuka said. TCH hey Deku. I can't believe you fucking fell through the ceiling. Well technically, I didn't fall through the ceiling, I came in, through the ceiling. There's a difference. A big difference, at that. He stated. Yeah whatever. I'm sure there is, stupid nerd. Kukin, if I'm a nerd, how am I stupid? Izuku asked. Just before Katsuki could literally blow up the school, Aizawa came outside. We'll be doing a quirk assessment test. What? A quirk assessment test? Yelled the whole class, excluding Izuku, Katsuki, and a boy with a half and half hair and eyes. But orientation, we're going to miss it. Said a girl with brown hair. If you really want to make the big leagues, you can't waste time on pointless ceremonies. Here at UA, we're not tethered to traditions. Which means that I get to run my class however I see fit. The sleep-deprived teacher said. I like this guy. No wonder he's the underground pro hero Eraserhead. The teacher then continued, you've been taking standardized tests most of your lives. But you never got to use your quirk in physical exams before. The country is still trying to pretend we're all equal, by not letting those with the most power excel. It's not rational. One day the Ministry of Education will understand. Midoriya, you managed to get the most points in the entrance exam. What was your farthest distance throw with a softball when you were in junior high? About 71 meters. Yeah, that should be right. Izuku said. Right, try doing it with your quirk. Aizawa said. Izuku walked into the circle. Anything goes, just stay in the circle. Go on. Okay, the teachers probably know my quirk already, so they must be expecting something extravagant. But, I'll just give myself a zero-gravity quirk. Yeah, okay. I want a zero-gravity quirk that allows me to cancel gravity on anyone or anything when I touch it with the pads on my fingers. Izuku felt the quirk in his veins. Go on, you're wasting my time. Aizawa said. Alright then, said Izuku. Aizawa threw the ball at him, but Izuku caught it in the air with his telekinesis. He brought the ball to him, and graved it. As he looked at people, he heard their thoughts. I wonder what he's going to do. If he has a telekinesis quirk, how long can he keep it running? How far is his range? This looks fun. What's this damn nerd going to do now? This kid better not hold back, or there will be consequences. Izuku slightly shivered at the last thought, but brushed it off. He brought back his arm, and threw the ball. Aizawa was just about to erase his quirk, when he saw the ball flying up. It took a little while, but eventually, Aizawa showed the class a small device with an infinity sign on it. Infinity? How the hell did he manage that? This time, the only 3 people not yelling were Izuku, Katsuki, and Aizawa. Once people calmed down, a girl with pink hair and pink skin said something about the assessment being fun, along with other classmates that agreed with her. Oh no. Saying something like that is a big mistake. Fun? Nothing about this is fun. Aizawa said in a monotone voice. How about the person that comes in last will be expelled? What? That's not fair, said Uraraka. Or, at least that's what Izuku's analyze quirk said her name was. Oh, and you think natural disasters are? Or hungry villains, Or catastrophic accidents that wipe out whole cities? No. The world is full of unfairness. It's a hero's job to try and combat that unfairness. If you wanna be a pro, you're going to have to push yourself to the brink. For the next 3 years UA will throw one terrible hardship after another at you. So go beyond, plus ultra style. Show me it's no mistake that you're here. Aizawa finished. I don't approve of this kind of hazing, but UA's the top hero program. I have no choice. Izuku heard the thought of his uptight classmate, as well as some others. One that caught his interest was from a girl with black hair and a spiky ponytail. He's just faking. Probably to push us to the brink. He wouldn't actually expel someone on the first day. So, she thinks he's faking now? I wonder what her thoughts will be when Aizawa breaks the news to her later. His train of thought was cut off by Aizawa continuing. Now then. We're just wasting time by talking. Let the games begin. Test 1, 50-meter dash. Runners, on your marks, said measuring device 5A. Ready. And they were off. The first 2 racers were Aitsa, against a frog-like girl named Ajui, who wants to be called Sue. Aitsa came in first, with 3.04 seconds. And next was Sue, with 5.58 seconds. Next was a girl named Okako Uraraka, who was making her clothes weightless with her quirk. She was against Mashiro Ajiro. Ajiro finished first with a score of 5.49 seconds, Uraraka finishing next with 7.15 seconds. And next was Mina Ashido up against Yuga Aoyama. Mina was in first, and Aoyama in second, with 5.15 seconds. And up next were Katsuki Bakugo against Izuku Midoroya. Izuku was using his clockwork quirk to slow time down. Runners, on your marks. Measuring device 5A said. Though, it was in a deeper, slower voice, since Izuku was slowing time. Ready. As soon as the first millisecond of the gunshot sounded, Izuku had teleported to the other side of the track. As time went back to its original pace, the robotic voice could be heard. 0.014363 seconds. Everyone's head, excluding Katsuki who was still flying to the end, turned to Izuku. He was standing there, and he hadn't even broke a sweat. Katsuki had finally showed up, with 4.13 seconds as his time. What the hell? Everybody, and that means, everybody, other than Izuku yelled. Izuku looked back, and the look of shock and horror on everyone's face made him crack a smile and start laughing. Do you see the look on your faces? It's hilarious, he said. Test 2, Grip Strength. The next test was simpler. Or that's what Izuku thought before he walked into the room and took the test. A boy with a quirk of 6 arms, named Mizo Shoji, hit 540 kilograms. Which Zero, a boy with a tape quirk, responded to by saying, "Wow. You hit 540 kilograms. You're such a beast." Izuku gripped the test machine, using a quirk he named Tsuyokyu Tsuyoi, which means strong and mighty. To his surprise, there was a loud crack that echoed throughout the gym. He looked down, only to find his own device was cracked and broken. "You dim nerd. Stop showing off." Izuku heard Kaken yell. "Yeah, whatever Kaken." Aizawa, who was observing the scene, walked over to Izuku. "I see you've broken the grip reader." "Why yeah. Sorry about that," Izuku said. "It doesn't matter. That's why we have a stronger grip reader. Try this." Aizawa handed Izuku another grip reader, but it was heavier than the first. Izuku grabbed the grip reader, and squeezed. It was working. Until it snapped. Then it wasn't working anymore. Izuku, along with every other person in the room, stared at both broken machines. "I'll get you All Might's grip reader." Aizawa then walked to a closet no one knew was there, and grabbed a blue and yellow grip reader out. He then walked back to Izuku. "Now this was invented for All Might, so you have a 97.846 chance of breaking it." "Oh, okay." Izuku grabbed the grip reader, which was heavier than he thought, and did the one thing he was supposed to do. He squeezed it. It took about 3 seconds before there was a loud crunch, followed by smoke covering Izuku's hands. The students, other than Katsuki, looked at Aizawa in shock, then at Izuku, then Izuku's hands, where the now broken grip reader still was. Test 3, Standing Long Jump. Aoyama flew across the sand pit using his naval laser. It worked better than the 50-meter dash, since a little more slanted, and shorter. Katsuki was up next, and he also cleared the sand pit, by using his explosions as propellers. It was a wonder on how they were useful for almost anything. Except being quiet. Sue cleared the sand pit easily. Being a frog probably helps. Next was Izuku. He didn't really want to show off his quirks, so he just teleported to the other side, easily clearing the sand pit, like the people before him. Test 4, Repeated Side Steps. The little pervert, Minoru Mineta, was actually pretty clever in this test. He used the balls from his head to bounce from side to side. Izuku simply teleported from side to side. And, if he was being honest, these tests were pretty boring. He had started wondering what it would be like if he didn't get into UA. If there was any other school than UA to go to, it would be Shikatsu. Test 5, Ball Throw. Since Izuku already did it, and couldn't really improve his score, he sat back and watched all the other throws. Kaken, being himself, stepped into the circle, and snatched the ball from Aizawa. He then reeled his arm back, getting ready to throw the ball. Die! Katsuki yelled as he threw the ball, using his quirk to send it soaring through the sky. This gained him the score of 705.2 meters. The throw that really impressed him was Yurika's throw. She used her zero-gravity quirk and did exactly what Izuku did, gaining her the same score as him. Scores. The tests after the ball throw were easy, though only a couple of people could use their quirks. Izuku had simply given himself an enhancer quirk, which basically upped all of his strength, agility, speed, stamina, IQ, and senses. When the test was over, they finally got to see their scores. 1 Izuku Midoriya. 2 Momoya Yarazut. 3 Shoto Todoroki. 4 Katsuki Bakugo. 5 Tinya Aitsa. 6 Fumikage Tokoyami. 7 Mizo Shoji. 8 Mashiro Ajiro. 9 Ahiro Kiris Hima. 10 Mina Ashido. 11 Okako Urarika. 12 Koji Kauda. 13 Rakido Sato. 14 Tsuyu Ajui. 15 Yuga Aoyama. 16 Hanta Zero. 17 Deni Kaminari. 18 Kyoka Jiro. 19 Toru Higakuru. 20 Minoru Mineta. Pack up and leave, Mineta. Aizawa said. Izuka looked over to Momo, only to see her in shock. Hey, Yairaza. You probably shouldn't underestimate Mr. Aizawa. We'd be lucky if we even made it out. Last year he expelled his whole class. Izuku stated. In the end, the class ended up leaving Mineta to suffer and cry in his own self-pity. I hope you...
Well, y'all, that's the end of the what if for right now. The person who wrote the what if, they the what a fanfic, they need to make more parts to the what if. So like they need to write more like pages or whatever. And then after that, I'm probably gonna post some more videos of this what if. So hope y'all happy with the one right now, and subscribe and like the video. Subscribe, share the video to people who watch what ifs and like anime.